Yes, you saw that right. King's Dominion finally announced what they're going to be doing with Project 305. And I must say, this is not what I was expecting. But here's the thing. I actually think it's really cool. We're going to be breaking down a new retheme of this coaster, and I'll be giving you everything you guys need to know. So without further ado, let's get started. So King's Dominion just released this teaser, saying that Project 305 will be transforming into Pantherian. So basically it's going to be themed to a panther. Now, I was expecting that King's Dominion was going to go with some sort of like jungle animal. I mean, that was a pretty logical choice. And we've been getting like leaks and stuff. This was probably going to be inside of Jungle Expedition. Like they would expand that area and everything. So my like three main guesses were going to be either lion, tiger, or cheetah. Now I've heard all three of those being thrown around. They're, I guess, all like jungle cats, I guess. And given like the orange and black color scheme, I honestly thought it was probably going to be themed to a tiger. But lo and behold, King's Dominion decides to theme this to a panther, which I honestly think is a really cool theme. Now, yes, could they theme this to a tiger, a lion, a cheetah, whatever? Of course. But I kind of feel like that's like the obvious choice, and I think with them going for like a panther, that's actually pretty cool. Now, sure, you can name your coaster Pantherian or whatever, but what really matters is how are you going to theme that coaster? And this is what I think the biggest question I have with this whole announcement and transformation is how well Cedar Fair / Six Flags will theme this coaster. And I think if we look back at how Cedar Fair has themed these past coasters, such as Orion or even Mystic Timbers at Kings Island, you would think it would be safe to assume that this coaster will have a decent theme behind it. I mean, just look at Jungle Expedition at King's Dominion. That place is amazingly themed. It would be very odd for King's Dominion to just slap a repaint on this coaster and do nothing to the queue. And especially since they are trying to, like, completely retheme the coaster, not just repaint it, it would make sense to, like, give it a cooler queue and, like, tie it into the area better. What I really hope they end up doing is, like, I also hope they try to add, like, almost a backstory to this coaster. Like, I don't know, I feel like it'd be really cool if they had some, like, cool story about, like, the panther, like, jumping through the jungle or something. I don't know, but I feel like with this being, like, the, I guess, headlining attraction of King's Dominion, that it should have some good theming and, like, a good, legit backstory behind it. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Think of Orion at Kings Island, for example. The backstory is nothing crazy or anything. Basically, it's in the future, meteors are falling down on Earth, and you gotta, like, test, basically, a spaceship to help humans escape to another planet. That's, like, a cool, simple backstory that you can kind of pick up through the queue and, like, through your little pre-show or whatever. It doesn't have to be some elaborate, crazy backstory that's, like, super well thought out or anything. It just needs to be something. I would also think it would be super, super cool if they could do some little, like, pre-show to help give that backstory and some background information on, like, the coaster, I guess. Like, I feel like I-5 on its own, or I guess Pantheria, that's going to be a weird one to get used to. But anyway, I feel like that coaster, just by itself, is not what Cedar Fair was necessarily looking for. It's a little too intense for the average theme park guest, and quite frankly, it's not very popular. So I think Six Flags' main goal with this retheme is to get the general public to give this coaster another shot. Because I feel like a lot of people have started to associate I-305 as a blackout, a gray out machine or whatever, and a coaster that they should avoid and it's too intense or whatever. And I think what King's Dominion needs to and wants to do with this coaster is give this a fresh new identity. Give it a fresh start. Is it the same coaster? Yeah, it is, but with a new theme, fresh coat of paint, and hopefully like a cool backstory, hopefully they can get people to give this coaster another shot. Because no doubt this coaster was, dare I say, a failure for King's Dominion. It just did not perform the way that, let's say, like Millennium Force did for Cedar Point. But I really think it's possible for them to breathe new life into this coaster. But it's going to come down to A, how well they theme this coaster and how they execute on that theming, and B, how they market this coaster. Because let's not forget that marketing is a very big part of getting people in the door to a theme park. You gotta hype people up and get them excited to ride your roller coaster. And if this is going to be successful, King's Dominion needs to, like, I guess, skip over slightly the super intense 300-foot drop part of it and focus more on the super cool theme. I mean, yes, they can, like, say it's the tallest coaster King's Dominion or anything, but if they're trying to give this coaster a new identity, focus on that new identity with the marketing material. And I already know it, but they're definitely going to market this coaster as a brand new roller coaster, even though it's been around for 10 plus years and it just got a retheme. But anyway, I really like where this retheme is going. And I feel like this coaster has a ton of potential and could be incredibly successful for King's Dominion. But this whole announcement is not perfect. There are definitely some head scratches with this. As I already mentioned, we don't know if this coaster is actually going to be themed well. Now, judging from like the announcement video and their Cedar Fair / Six Flags' past tendencies, you would think that this coaster would be themed well, right? But then again, I've seen a lot crazier things, and I would not be shocked if this coaster, this whole retheme, is basically just a new sign out front and a repaint, unfortunately. So that's one head scratcher. I think my second head scratcher is, why are they doing this the same year they're adding a new coaster? King's Dominion has always been a pretty mid-tier park from the Cedar Fair chain, and that's probably going to stay the same within the Six Flags one too. So it's not like they're going to be receiving a major investment every single year. That's just not how that works. So I don't really understand why they wouldn't space out their investments more, because sure, you got a lot of people buying season passes for the new coaster and everything, but do we really need a retheme of the existing one the same exact year? I honestly feel like it would have been smarter to either do it the year before or the year after this new coaster. Because to your average theme park guest, if they retheme I-305, they're just going to say, oh, they added a new coaster, there's something new this year, let's buy a season pass and visit the park, we gotta check it out. But I don't feel like that effect would really be like magnified by doing two things in the same year. I really feel like it would have been smarter to get that almost like new coaster effect for 2 years in a row than just kind of doing it at the exact same time. Now, of course, I don't know the exact reasoning behind this, and I'm sure they have some reason why they wanted to do this the exact same year. And this definitely could be to kind of ramp up the competition with Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I would not be shocked if that is the case, start kind of putting pressure on them. Or who knows, is King's Dominion suddenly becoming like a top tier park? I don't know yet. We'll have to kind of wait and see. So if you do want to stay up to date on that, then a sub to the channel would be fantastic. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2024, and I really need your help. Please. Anyway, great job King's Dominion. I can't wait to see how this project ends up turning out. Oh, and this is interesting. If you want to know why people don't like dive coasters so much, then check out the video on your screen right now, because it's probably not what you think. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.